Welcome to another episode of Roll Up a Poet. So get your blunts right and your drink poured. Alright, now look. So for this one, I'm gonna make this one real quick. As y'all can see, this video ain't gonna be real long. You know what I'm saying? But I want to drop some gems on a guy that I was in prison with named Pi. Pi been in prison for 50 whole years. Tap in, tap the fuck in. Alright. So let's go into that time capsule back in 2014, right? I'm still in prison. I'm on my last couple of months. I got transferred from Adrian Correctional Facility to Lapeer Correctional Facility to carry out this violent offender class that I had to take in order for me to get a parole to get out and go home, right? So I get transferred to a new prison. I'm at Lapeer. I'm meeting people and everything, right? Everything good. My name check out. I'm straight, right? So I get introduced to this guy named Pi. Pi been in prison for literally 50 years straight, literally, right? Pi was 78 years old. He was about 5'7", 5'8", black guy, kind of slumped over a little bit, been in prison his whole life. So at 18 years old, he was out with his homeboys. They killed somebody. Well, he the one that killed the person, right? Got life in prison. You know, he wasn't no bad guy, nothing. To my knowledge, to what he told me, he wasn't no bad guy, nothing. He, just made a decision. Just was with his boys one day, made a bad decision, gave him life in prison. So he get to prison. Everybody leave him. His friends turn on him. You know, his girl get to messing around with his homeboys. He lost it all, to prove that he was gang for the crew. And this is what happened. So here it is, 50 years later. I bump into him in prison. He is an old man. He been in there 50 years. I was 25 at the time. So not only he did my whole life in there, but he been in there 25 years before I even was born. You know what I'm saying? Out cold. So with that being said, this is 50th year being in there. I didn't talk to Pi plenty of times. Pi was my dog. We good people. So I'm not just talking the story about somebody like, nah, Pi was my dude. You know what I'm saying? I never seen him mad, never seen him tweak out. He always had a good spirit. He always was saying how he about to go home and how he want to eat some chicken wings and things like that. Because he ain't had none of that stuff in 50 years. Always was a good spirit. He always hung around the young guys that was going home and shit like that. Like, Pop was a good dude. But he wouldn't face his reality that he wasn't going nowhere. And a lot of guys in there like that. That's how they keep going. Damn, a whole blunt just fell out my ear. But fuck it, ain't that a bitch? How about that? So a lot of guys they go about it is I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna get out. That's what keep their mind going, right? Pi had that mentality, you know, and it worked out for him. He was a good dude. But the reality is when you have life, you have life. You're not getting out. So anyway, for that 50th year, we all sitting at the table. Some inmates brought out a whole damn cake. Yeah, they made cakes, cookies, pizza, burgers, all type of shit in prison. They make all type of shit. I told you there's some hidden talent in there, man. Real talk. So they made Pi a birthday, like a birthday cake or something, I guess, like for his 50th year of being in prison. On the cake it said happy 50th, right? So everybody standing around him and all that. He had this smile on his face, big, huge Kool-Aid smile. And it's sad because this is where he get his joy at, by smiling around a bunch of other grown ass men. You know what I'm saying? It's his reality, man. They made him a birthday cake for being in prison for 50 years. Like that was an accomplishment. But in prison, that's all you got to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? Man, it was bad, man. You know, and then Pie watched me go home. You know how many people he didn't watch go home over the past 50 years? You know what I'm saying? You know how much technology didn't change? You know how much then evolved in the whole 50 years? And he's still just sitting there watching people come in and go out. And he going nowhere. So to everybody who think that when you hear somebody got a life bid, that mean they be home in 25 years or some shit like that. That's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? When you get sentenced to life, that mean your ass gonna do life in prison. You're never getting out. You know what I'm saying? And Pie was a prime example of it, you know? So I just had to end it like that, man. That was the story of Pie. He been in prison 50 years. And his story was real amusing to me. You know what I'm saying? I recall days when I used to just sit there and I used to just stare at him. You know, no homo, but I used to just stare at him in amusement. Like, damn, this guy really in here for the rest of his life, and he been gone for 50 years. Now I didn't ran across dudes that had life in prison. You know, been down 20, 30 years. But 50 years, I never ran across one that been down for 50 years until I ran into Pie. And it was the truth, you know. He was a good spirited guy, but he was broken down on the inside, man. Them prison walls took that man life, you know. So, life lesson for everybody out there, man. Don't do nothing to get yourself boxed up because they don't care. They will give you the rest of your life, and you will do the rest of your life in there. And guess what? You don't get no special treatment because you've been in there 30, 40 years. They still treat your ass just like how they do everybody else. And they still treat you the same way they treated you the same day you came in that bitch. It's the same way they gonna treat you the day you leave out in that motherfucker in the box. Ain't nothing gonna change. It's still the same thing. It's prison politics, man. It's been another episode of Roll Up a Poet. So get your blunts, Rowdy, your drink poured.